It's the series decider in Melbourne, and it doesn't get bigger than this. Australia want to win this so that they can level up the series and go to the decider in the third test. And British and Irish Lions want to win this so they can go on and potentially win 3 from 3, which hasn't been done before in a British and Irish Lions tour in ages. Ton of changes made from both teams, more of a pick and stick from Joe Schmidt with the Wallabies, and there's been some wholesale changes with the British and Irish Lions. But before we get into it, let me know in the comments what you guys think of the squads named. How do you see this game playing out? What do Wallabies need to do to level up the series? And what do the British and Irish Lions need to do to win this game and go on and win 3 from 3? Let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get into it. Okay, it's the big one. Next weekend, or the third test, doesn't matter if Wallabies don't win this one. I'm talking on the Wallabies first. This is a big game for the Wallabies. Probably the biggest game under Joe Schmidt's reign, and one of the biggest games the Wallabies have ever played over the past couple of years. We want to see a reaction. We need to see a reaction. Wallabies fans need to see a reaction. And for the Wallabies going on, you just need to see a reaction. What they did in the last 20, 30 minutes in that first test, we want to see it from the start in this test. So we'll run through the teams and we'll get to where I think some matchups, and then where I think the game will be won or lost. So for the Wallabies, you've got James Slipper, David Parecki, and Alan Alatoa up front. Then you've got Nick Frost and Will Skelton. Will Skelton coming back in, giving you that physicality, that front football. And I said it in the preview of the first test, because he wasn't there, they were going to lack that, and they needed guys to step up in that regard, and they just didn't have that. We saw this week that passed, the First Nations and Pacifica, what they did with the Lions. Yes, it wasn't a fully strength Lions team, but it was still stacked with a ton of international players. And if you're physical with them, kind of sets them on the back burner. It sets any team on the back burner. You need to be physical. Will Skelton is going to lead that for the Wallabies here. Then you've got Rob Valentini back in, Fraser McGride, Harry Wilson still captain there. Jay Gordon, Tom Liner. So Joe Schmidt is picking those guys and sticking with them, backing them, trusting them. I don't think Gordon or Tom Liner, they both probably didn't have their worst games, but it's your 9 and 10. They need to be on song. They need to be playing really well. And I thought Tom Liner, while it was his first ever start for the Wallabies last week, kind of a deer in headlights, and you need your 10 to be playing well. But I credit Joe Schmidt on the pick and stick. Don't mind that at all. Then Len Ikitau and Suali'i in the centres, and the back three of Harry Potter, Max Jorgensen, and Tom Wright. On the bench, you've got Billy Pollard, Angus Bell, Tom Robertson, Jeremy Williams, Lungi Gleeson, Carlo Tizzano, Tate McDermott, and Ben Donaldson. So you've got your big ball carriers back. So your Valentinis, your Will Skeltons, they're going to give you that front foot ball. Love that. Then someone like Gleeson coming off the bench, he's giving you more of that punch as well. We know what Carlo Tizzano and someone like Tate McDermott can do off the bench. We'll get into that in a minute. Then jumping over to the British and Irish Lions, some wholesale changes. It's bring your kid to work day as well. Don't mind it at all. So we've got Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan, and Tide Furlong up front, all Ireland front row. Don't mind that. Mauro Itoje and Ollie Chesham. Then it's an all-English second row. Itoje captain. And then we've got Tide Byrne, Tom Curry, Jack Conan, same as last week. They were all three outstanding. Tide Byrne winning man of the match. Tom Curry was fantastic as well. It was probably second man of the match. And then Conan just did what he does. Strong with ball in hand, good at line-out time as well. Jamison, Gibson Park, Finn Russell, 9 and 10. Class. No need to change there. Centres, Bundy Aki, Hugh Jones. So no Tui Polotu. He's not even on the bench. Strange one. This is home. It's where he grew up. It's where he started his rugby in Melbourne. You would think it'd be a bit of a homecoming, get him to play. Definitely rotating the squad around. There was definitely, I think, transparency before the test started with how they were going to play the games or how they were going to rotate the squads around, because Tui Polotu didn't do anything wrong. There was no talk of him being injured. You look at in the locks, Joe McCarthy was outstanding in the test, but he did have an injury. So that's why Chesham, I think, has come in. So I wonder what the chat was around dropping Tui Pilotu and bringing Bundy Aki in. Then we've got the back three of the same, James Lowe, Tommy Freeman, and Hugo Keenan. On the bench, we got Callagher, Genge, and Stewart. James Ryan, Jack Morgan is in, gets his opportunity, love it. Him coming on later in the game, locking horns with someone like Carlo Tizzano. Let's go. I'll love that matchup if it happens. And then we've got Alex Mitchell, the big man, Owen Farrell, and Blair Kinghorn, all getting their opportunities off the bench, I'm guessing a little bit later on in the game. So my big matchups, I'm picking the big boys in the back row, ones that dominated the first test. So the British and Irish Lions guys in Byrne, Tom Curry, and Jack Conan coming up against a newly reshuffled Rob Valentini, Fraser McWright, and Harry Wilson. Quite harsh on Nick Champion de Crepney. I thought he was one of the best, one of Wallabies' best last week, but you've got the experience and the been there, done that of Rob Valentini. Man, you can't deny this guy. I would have liked if they found space for both of them, but I get it. Rob Valentini coming in, he's going to have to lead the charge with physical carries. I can't wait for that matchup between him and someone like Tom Curry or Jack Conan or Ty Byrne. I think we need to see a little bit more from guys like Fraser McWright and Harry Wilson. While we know what Valentini's going to bring, he's going to come around the corner, he's going to run hard, he's going to hit hard in defense. I need Fraser McWright to get involved in the game a bit more. He was good, kind of an energizer bunny in the first test, but be more effective in that regard. And then Wallabies need Harry Wilson to stand up and bring those strong carries like he did all year for the Reds. Just bite down on the mouth guard and run straight, run over the top of guys. They need that physicality, you need that front football. And the back row of Wallabies are going to lead that for them, but the back row of British and Irish Lions are going to stand up and face them head to head as well. So I'm looking forward to that battle. The 9 and 10, again, as always is, those guys play well, your team wins. Yes, it depends on all the forwards. Are the forwards going forward for sure? But man, we saw in that first test, Gibson Park and Finn Russell had the ball on the string. They were fantastic. We need to see that from Jake Gordon and Tom Liner. Yes, their forwards need to give them options or need to give them good go-forward ball, good set piece as well. And then I think their backs out wide can give them a bit more with regards to attack, giving them options, having guys running short, guys out the back. So it'll be a big game for Tom Liner and Jake Gordon for sure. The nerves kind of probably settled after that first test. They need to start strong and carry on that form throughout the game. Stay strong. Start strong, stay strong. But again, it's what platform their forwards can set for them. The centres, big matchup here. Obviously, Bundy Aki coming in. Hugh Jones was there last week. Len Ikital, Joseph Akuso Suali'i. I picked out Suali'i with regards to his one-on-one tackles. Need to be better. They need to stick your tackles, need to get up off the line, make your big hits, but stick those tackles, not try and tackle too high and not necessarily try and put a big shot on every tackle. Just make your tackles, mate, especially when you've got Hugh Jones, Bundy Aki running in your channel. Need to get in there and make your tackles and then offer Tom Liner some more bits on attack. While, yes, Wallabies probably didn't have a lot of the ball, especially in that first half. They still, when they have the ball, you need to execute on your plays. You need to have options. Your 10 needs to have options. Your centers need to give your 10 options, and they need to relay that message across. All of that was probably happening, but from the outside looking in, it didn't look like they were giving much options to Liner. So we need Len Ikitau and Suali'i to have an even better game on attack than they did last week. Like, they didn't do much on attack last week, but they need to give Liner more. The bench is going to be a massive part of this game on the matchups there. So whoever comes on, you're looking at Lungi Gleeson coming up against Jack Morgan, Carlo Tizzano coming up there against someone like James Ryan. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And it's like the Wallabies, a 6-2 split. So we can definitely see how they're going to want to play. You're bringing on Lange Gleeson, Carlo Tizzano. They want to bash you up front. They want to be more physical, have guys that can come on and change the game up front with carrying the ball or disrupting breakdown. That's how Pacifica did it. That's how Waratahs did it. Yes, they didn't win those games, but they were heavily in those games, and they had British and Irish Lions on the back foot there for a lot of those games just from being physical and bashing you up front. So I like to see that bit of intent from Joe Schmidt, 6-2 split. Kind of know how he wants to play then. Where I see the game won or lost. So firstly, and I've probably mentioned it throughout this whole video already, is physical. Have to be physical. It starts with a set piece, strong scrum, strong line out. I thought Wallabies did really well at scrum time in the first test. Build on that. Smash them up front, bring Angus Bell, Tom Robinson, Billy Pollard on later on and smash them again. Ireland or British and Irish Lions have got that all-Irish front row. I think that's why they've got the continuity there. Andy Farrell knows what he's getting from those guys at scrum time, and they need to match that fire with fire. Lions coming into the tour were really strong at scrum time. Wallabies showed them up a bit in that first test. That's where it's going to start here. It's always is at the set piece. Line outs again. I'll give Wallabies like Nick Frost, Will Skelton, all good line out options. I even think Rob Valentini is a good line out option. You've got Jeremy Williams coming on later. But then you look at the Lions, they've got Chesham, Itoje, that English partnership there. And then you've got Tyke Byrne, also a line out option, as well as Jack Conan. So line outs will be touch and go. I think Wallabies will get the scrum. And while I'm saying that, I'm like, it's all Irish front row, so they know how to work and manipulate those dark arts. So set piece up front, being physical, carrying the ball, so your Will Skeltons, your Valentinis, and then on the other side, you've got your Currys, your Jack Conans, those guys, Ollie Chesham, Maro Toje coming around the corner, need to be physical. And then the big one for me, I'm only doing 2 reasons why. So my first reason, or where I think the game will be won or lost, is physicality and set piece, pretty much go hand in hand. And then the bench, how the bench is used and what energy that bench brings on. We saw in that first test, British and Irish Lions kind of came out and just won the game in the first half. Wallabies came back, brought their subs on at perfect time and scored those last few tries. And it's not just score those they earned those last few tries. So how the bench is used is obviously a 6-2 split here for Joe Schmidt. So he's going to use these piggies up front to come on later in the game and bring that energy and match the physicality that they'll start the game with throughout the game, or hoping to do so. Then bringing on, hopefully there's no injuries early on that can tamper with that, how he wants to do or deploy his bench. But the bench is going to be so important. Then you're looking at British and Irish Lions, someone like Owen Farrell. Again, the been there, done that. He was, I wouldn't say classy, but he was just cool, calm, and collected in the game during the week versus the Pacifica side, and can cover your 10 and centre. Then you've got Blair Kinghorn, who can cover the back 3, and obviously Mitchell, that's covering 9. How they get used or when they get used will be obviously up to Farrell and how he wants to play out the game, but it's quality to bring on later in the game. And someone like Owen Farrell, who's got the calm, the cool head, when the intensity's high and energy's high and everyone is maybe a bit unsettled or a bit rattled, you bring someone like him on just to calm everything down. Definitely something you want to have later on in the game. Can't wait for it. I want the Wallabies to win this game so that we can have it all to play for in the 3rd test. But I understand British and Irish Lions haven't won 3 from 3 on tour in ages, so they'll be gunning for this one, absolutely. I'm just going to go Wallabies to win this one by 2, just so we can have that 3rd test as a nail-biter, as an all to play for. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Are you going to the game? What's your score prediction? How do you see this one playing out? And I'll see you afterwards. I'll see you next time. Bye.